Okay. Act 1, Scene 1. See, before doing any scene, first of all, please understand you need to know where the scene took place. After every scene, see, in every scene, you will be provided with the venue. Okay, as you can see, like here, what is the venue where the scene takes place? Venice, a street. It is written. Okay, it is a very common question, like where does the scene take place? So you will always write it takes place in a street of Venice, right? So
Yes.
please underline it in your book. This is very important. Enter Antonio Salarino and Salanio. Now, can you tell me why is this word enter written here? What is meant by this? Where do they enter?
They enter the street.
They enter the street. No,
They
actually, they
enter the
enter the
play.
stage.
Okay.
Ritisha, ultimately it's a play, and it is in a way is the script of the play, right? And it is meant for performing, it is meant for acting, okay?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
here we are given this to read. So we are reading it, but we have all the instructions as if it is the script of the play. So Antonio is there. Antonio says, "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. It wearies me. You say it wearies you. But how I caught it, found it, or came by it, what stuff it is made of, whereof it is born, I am to learn. And such a wantwit sadness makes of me that I have much ado to know myself." Now, in this speech, Antonio, from this speech, you may know that Antonio, who is the protagonist of the play, a merchant in Venice, he is a merchant of Venice, he is sad. Okay, he is sad. And he says, in sooth here means truth. In truth, actually, truly, I know not why I am so sad. I don't know why I am so sad. I don't know the reason of my sadness. It wearies me. Wearies here means worries. It worries me. You say it wearies you. You are saying that you are worried about it, but let me tell you, I am also worried about it. So, in these two lines, we come to know the back as the background, we come to know that Antonio must be sitting in an upset way. That's why both of his friends, Salarino and Salanio, they are considerate about him and they must have asked him, right? What happened? Why are you sitting like this alone, and why are you being so sad? And for that, Antonio says, in truth, I myself do not know the reason of my sadness. It worries me as well, the way it worries you. But how I caught it, found it, or came by it, it here refers to this sadness. Okay. Now, another word for sadness is melancholy, which you may use in your answers. But what it is, how I caught it, how I caught this melancholy, found it, how I found it, or came by it, or how I came across it, what stuff it is made of, what stuff it is made of, what is it made up of, whereof it is born. Whereof means from where it is born. I am to learn. I am yet to learn. I do not know the reason of my sadness. And from where have I got this sadness? Where I came across this sadness? What stuff it is made up of? I do not know. I am to learn. Right? And such a want with sadness makes of me. Want with here, you can say a kind of idiot. You know, who is an idiot? An absent minded fellow. And such an idiot, such a wanted sadness makes of me that I have much ado to know myself. Ado, you can say concern or trouble, or trouble. Okay, I myself have trouble in knowing that why am I looking like an idiot, that I am sitting in such an upset way where I myself do not know the reason of my sadness. Is it clear? Is it clear? So you see, his friends must have asked him, "Why are you sitting alone like this? Why are you looking so upset? What or so melancholic?" And for that, he says all this. Yes, Ritisha, is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, for that, Salarino says, Now, for that, Salarino says, your mind is tossing in the ocean. Now, you see, when Antonio shows his concern that he doesn't know the reason of his own melancholy, so for that, his friends, they try to convince him, or they try to find out a reason why their friend Antonio is melancholic. And for that, Salarino says, your mind is tossing on the ocean. So why would his mind toss on the ocean? Because on the ocean, he's a merchant, right? Merchant is means a big trader, and especially those who deal in exporting, importing goods. Okay, so these merchants used to have their ships. They used to export items. They used to trade through ships. So their ships would always be busy on the sea, taking goods or bringing whatever, right? So here Salarino says, your mind is tossing on the ocean. You are concerned about it because your mind is tossing on the ocean, means your mind is occupied on the ocean. You are thinking about ocean. There, where your argosies with portly sail, like seigneurs and rich burghers on the flood, or as it were, the pigeons of the sea, to overpeer the pretty traffickers that curtsy to them, do them reverence as they fly by them with their woven wings. He says, your mind is tossing on the ocean. I know you are troubled because your mind is occupied on the ocean. You are thinking about the oceans. There, where your argosies are big commercial ships. Okay, argosies means big commercial ships were known as argosies. There, where your argosies means your big commercial ships with portly sail. Portly means royal sail. Why royal? Because they are so big commercial ships, so they are having a royal sail like seigneurs and rich burghers. Again, seigneurs means gentlemen, and burghers are rich citizens. Okay, burghers are VIPs, you can say, important citizens. So your ships are like rich gentlemen or like VIPs, like rich gentlemen or VIPs. They are sailing on the ship, on the flood. Flood here means sea only. Okay, flood here means sea. So
Ma'am,
your
what are
yes,
ma'am, what is seniors? I couldn't understand.
rich betas,
Get me.
rich
Okay,
gentlemen
thank
are called, right? And rich burghers mean citizens, VIPs, important citizens, right? So he is comparing big commercial ships of Antonio to the VIPs, or you can say rich gentlemen. Okay, because his ships are sailing on the sea in a very royal way. Okay, why are they royal? Why are they having such stately sail? Because they are very big commercial ships, right? Huge ships. Okay, or as it were, as you can say, as it were is used, it means he is imagining the scene on the sea. So he's saying, or as it were, or as it would be the scene, the pageants of the pageant means scene, spectacle, scene,
Yes, ma'am.
as it would be the scene on the sea. So these rich ships of yours, they surpass the small boats, those small boats that curtsy to them. Curtsy means bow in respect, which bow in respect to these big ships. Do them reverence. Reverence means regard. Show them regard. Do them reverence as they fly by them with their woven wings. As they fly by them, they here refer to Antonio's ships. As Antonio's ships fly by them with their woven wings. So, woven wings here actually refer to mast. So, now Salanio continues. You know what Salarino was trying to say? He agrees with him. And he further says, believe me, sir, had I such venture forth, venture here means business. If I had such business, right? Had I such venture forth, if I had such business forth here means abroad. if I had such business abroad, the better part of my affections here means concern, the better part of my concern, my feelings would be with my hopes abroad. If I had the same kind of business as Antonio was having, then even my concern, better part of my feeling would be there with my hopes abroad, right? I should be still. Still means always. In Old English, still means always. I should be always plucking the grass to know where sits the wind. Means I would be always plucking the grass to know the direction of the wind. Where sits the wind here means the direction of the wind. All right. Peering in maps, it's peering actually here. Peering means looking closely in maps for ports, piers. Piers means harbors, and roads. Roads here means channels. You know, roads on sea are known as channels. Okay. Uh, so he says that if I had such a business as Antonio is having, in that condition, I would be always worried with for my ships, and I would always be plucking the grass to know the direction of the wind. Why? Because wind plays a very important role in ship sailing, right? So that's why he says I would always be eager to know the direction of the wind, and for that I would be plucking the grass and always be looking into maps to know about the ports, harbors, and roads, and every object that might make me fear, and every object that might make me fear means every object, anything that can make me afraid, uh, out of make me fear misfortune to my ventures, out of doubt would make me sad, and any object which I think can bring misfortune to me, that would definitely make me sad. So Salarino further agrees with what all Salanio has said when Salanio gave this situation, that he himself would have been very troubled or worried if his business was like that of Antonio. So in continuation, Salarino says, now he also gives the same kind of example, saying that my wind cooling my broth would blow me to an ague when I thought what harm a wind too great might do at sea. So before this, in Salanio's speech, we know that Salanio was saying that I would always be plucking grass to know where sits the wind. So wind, why? Because wind plays a very important role in sailing of a ship on the sea. So accordingly, Salarino also says, my wind cooling my broth. Broth here means soup. Broth means soup. My wind cooling my broth would blow me to an ague. It would blow me to an ague means it would make me tremble. Hmm? Make me tremble, shake, shiver, kampna, would blow me to an ague when I thought what a harm a wind too great might do at sea. So he says that my own wind, मेरी अपनी हवा, जो मेरी फूक है, which I used to cool my soup, it would make me tremble if I think what harm a wind can do at sea. Okay, so he is giving his own example that whenever he would be cooling his soup with his own wind, even his own wind would make him tremble if he had a thought how harmful a wind can be at sea to those ships. I should not see the sandy hourglass run, but I should think of shallows and of flats, and see my wealthy Andrew, docked in sand, wailing her high top lower than her ribs to kiss her burial. Then he gives another situation, saying that I should not see the sandy hourglass run. Now, please understand sandy hourglass, even you must have seen. It is a kind of apparatus, that was used in those times to know about the time. See, even you must have seen it. It is something like this. Yes. So, it is half filled with sand, and in 1 hour sand comes to another side, then you put it in another direction, so that way you will be able to count the hours. Those days clocks never used to be there, so this apparatus with two spheres of glass and a tiny hole between them through which sand ran from one sphere to another sphere, this apparatus was used and it was called sandy hourglass. Okay, so he's saying, he's giving another example saying that I could not see the sandy hourglass running. Why? Because I should think of, when I see the sandy hourglass running, I should think of shallows and of flats. Shallows means shallow water, where water is shallow, where water is not so deep. And flats here refer to sandbanks. Shallows and of flats, flats means sandbanks. He says, if I had such a business as Antonio is having, then I would not be in a situation to look at sandy hourglass running, because whenever I see the sandy hourglass running, suddenly I would be reminded of the shallow waters and sandbanks and see my wealthy Andrew. So see here, he wants to say that I would imagine, and as soon as I am reminded of these shallows and flats, suddenly I would imagine my wealthy Andrew. Andrew was a common name given to the merchant ships. Okay, that was a common name given to the merchant ships. And see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand. Docked here means stuck in sand, wailing her high top. Wailing means lowering her high top lower than her ribs. Ribs means sides, lower than her sides, to kiss her burial. To kiss her burial means to kiss the sand in which she is buried. To kiss the sand in which the ship is buried. Right? So, what does he mean to say? See, now when Selanio said that if he had the same kind of business as Antonio is having, even he would have been very troubled and always worried. So, in continuation with that, Selanio says he also, justifies what all Selanio said earlier. He said that even my condition would have been the same. My wind, which I used to cool my soup, would make me tremble whenever I am remembered, whenever I recall what harm a wind can do at sea. Similarly, I would not be able to look at the sandy hourglass running, because as soon as I see that, I would be reminded of shallows and flats. I would be reminded of shallow waters and sandbanks on the sea. And then I would imagine that my wealthy ship, which he refers to here as Andrew, that my wealthy ship is stuck in sand, and in this way, wailing her high top. The high top is the mast. Like if this is the sand, sorry, if this is the ship, then this is the mast. So wailing her high top, it will come down when the ship starts, when the ship starts sinking. In that way, when it is stuck in the sand, then the mast will come down lower than its ribs. Ribs are sides of the ship. And to kiss her burial, to kiss the sand in which the ship is buried. Is it clear, Ritisha? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Then he gives another example saying that, should I go to church and see the holy edifice of stone and not bethink me straight of dangerous rocks, which touching but my gentle vessel side would scatter all her spices on the stream and rob the roaring waters with my silks, and in a word, but even now worth this and now worth nothing. Now he gives another example. Okay, one example he gave of his own wind, which is used for cooling the soup. Another example he gave of the sandy glass running, that it would be difficult for him to look at that sandy glass run. And now he is giving another example saying that, should I go to church, means if I should go to church and see the holy edifice of stone. Edifice means building, holy building of the church, which is made up of stone, and not bethink me straight. Straight means immediately, means as soon as I see the holy building of the church, immediately I would think of dangerous rocks. You know, that building which is made up of stones, it would made me remind, it would made me remind the dangerous rocks which, touching but my gentle vessel side, vessel here, vessel means ship, okay, which if touch my gentle vessel, my gentle ship's side, would scatter all her spices on the stream, because spices was used to be a very common goods to export and import, that way. So he says that if, I would be reminded of the dangerous rocks, that if by chance they touch the side of my ship, then all the spices which are loaded on the ship, they would scatter, they would spread all over, all on the stream. Stream here means water, right? Stream here means water. They would spread on the stream. And robe means cover, cover the roaring waters with my silks. And in that way, silk, which is also loaded, spices and silk. Silk, you must be knowing, it is a kind of fabric cloth. So even this, the whole water, roaring waters of the sea will be covered with my silk. And in a word, in brief, but even now worth this, and now worth nothing. And just before a moment, even now worth this. The ship, the cargo was so valuable, it was so worthy, and now worth nothing. But just before and just after a moment, it will be worth nothing. Why will it be worth nothing? Because all the goods that it is carrying or that are loaded on it, means spices and silks, which are so expensive, they will be wasted. They will be there on the waters only, right? So in this way, the ship, the cargo, which was so expensive earlier, which was so rich, so valuable, so much worthy, now it will be worth nothing, right? Shall I have the thought to think on this, and shall I lack the thought to that? Shall I lack the thought that such a thing bechanced would make me sad? So, if I can imagine all this could happen, shall I have the thought to think on this? Means, if I can imagine that all this could happen, and shall I lack the thought that such a thing bechanced? Bechanced means happening, such a thing happening. Bechanced means happening would make me sad. So, what does he mean to say? That if I can imagine all this could happen, shall I not also have the imagination to picture the grief, the sadness which would occur out of such a disastrous situation? It would definitely make me sad. But tell not me, I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. Do not tell me, but I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. Merchandise again means business. All right, Ritisha. So, Salarino here in this speech is again justifying what Salanio had said earlier, and they both are trying to make. They both are trying to make this narrative. They are trying to set this narrative that Antonio is melancholic. Antonio is sad because of his business. He is worried about his ships on the sea. And what is he worried about? That the ships should reach safely to the harbors, to their destinations, because there are so many risks associated with ships on the sea. The first and foremost that has been described here is the wind, another shallows and flats, and another is dangerous rocks. So these are the risks which any ship may encounter during her sail in the sea. Now tell me whether it is clear or not. Yes, Ritisha, unmute yourself.
Ma'am, it is clear.
Okay, so should I move forward?
Ma'am, 1 minute. Yes, yes, ma'am, you can move forward.
Are you sure? Or you want me to wait?
No, no, ma'am, you can move forward.
Okay. I hope you are noting down everything in your book, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when both of them try to set this notion that Antonio is melancholic or sad because of his business, Antonio tries to justify him, clarify him, and says, believe me, no. Believe me, there is nothing like this. Okay, no. I thank my fortune for it. And for this, I thank my fortune. Fortune here, it has two meanings. Fortune means luck also, but here he means wealth. Okay. So he says, and I thank my wealth for it. I thank my fortune for it. My ventures again, business, my ventures are not in one bottom trusted. Bottom here means ship. My business is not trusted. Trusted here means dependent. My business is not dependent on one ship, nor to one place. At the same time, it is also not dependent to one place. Nor is my whole estate is the condition, nor is my whole estate is the condition. And basically, he is talking about his financial condition. My financial, oh, sorry. Nor is my whole estate means my financial condition or position upon the fortune of this present year. Present year means current year. At the same time, my financial condition does not depend on the fortune, on the luck of this current year. Therefore, my merchandise makes me not sad. So Antonio justifies himself here when both of them put this possibility that he must be worried about his business. So he says no, and I thank my fortune for it, because my fortune, my business is not dependent on one ship, and at the same time it is also not dependent to one place, because he had many ships and all his ships were going to different places, right? And then he gives another thing also, saying that, and my financial condition does not depend on the profit of this year only. Okay, so he says, in this way my business does not make me sad. I am not sad because of my business. Then Salanio puts another possibility. He says, why? Then are you in love? Then you are in love. You must be behaving like this because you must be in love. And this is the possibility which Antonio directly, clearly, he denies, saying that five means nonsense. This is nonsense. Okay, it doesn't have any meaning. So Salanio says, not in love neither. You are not even in love. Then let us say you are sad because you are not merry. Merry means happy. Okay, if you are not sad because of your business and you are not even in love, then also you are feeling sad, then we should say that you are sad because you are not happy. And it were as easy for you to laugh and leap. Leap here means jump. And it would be very easy for you to laugh and jump and say you are merry because you are not sad. Now you see, Salanio says that if you can be sad without a reason, then you can be happy also without a reason. He means to say this. When you are sad because you are not happy, then it is very easy for you to laugh and jump and say you are happy because you are not sad. Okay? When you can be sad without a reason, you can be happy also without a reason. And now, by two-headed Janus, nature had framed strange fellows in her time. Some that will evermore peep through their eyes and laugh like parrots at a bagpiper, and other of such vinegar aspect that they'll not show their teeth in way of smile, though nesters swear the jest be laughable. Now, he further moralizes on it, philosophizes on it, and he gives the reference of two-headed Janus. Please understand, when you do Shakespearean plays, there are many historical and mythological references that are used. Okay, and you need to know them. These allusions which are used in the play, you need to know them. You can also be asked a question on them. Okay, like here, Solanio uses a reference two-headed Janus. Now, please understand, Janus was a Roman god of doors.
Choices and doors now. Yes.
He was a Roman god of doors or choices also, uh, because he had two faces. Okay, why is he called two-headed? Because he had two faces, one face smiling and the other face frowning. Okay, one face smiling and other face frowning. So why was he god of doors? Because head, his face, which is smiling, it was put inwards, and the other frowning face used to look out. Okay, so his picture was put on the doors in such a way that his smiling face should be inside the house and his frowning face should be outside the house. So why is he that he is referring to Janus? Because he wants to say, by two-headed Janus, like the way Janus has two faces, in the same way nature hath framed. Nature here means goddess nature. Okay, goddess nature has framed means made or constructed strange fellows in her time. In the same way, the way Janus has two faces, goddess nature has also made different fellows, people of different natures, of strange natures in her time, you know. Why? Some, now he is giving example, there are some kind of people that will evermore means always, that will always peep through their eyes and laugh like parrots at a bagpiper. Peep through their eyes, what does it mean? You know, when you laugh, you have wrinkles on your faces, right? Wrinkles on your faces, so that is known as peep through their eyes, you know, so that their eyes appear to be peeping through the folds. That is why he says, and laugh like parrots at a bagpiper. Bagpiper is the one who plays bagpipe. So why is he said that laugh like parrots? They laugh foolishly. Huh? They laugh foolishly like parrots, because when parrots laughing at bagpiper, because they do not have any reason to laugh at them, but still they laugh without reason. Okay, so he is trying to say that nature has made strange kind of fellows. Some are there who would always laugh without a reason, like a parrot laughing at a bagpiper, and other of such vinegar aspect, and other are of such vinegar aspect means sour expression. Other people are so bitter, they have such a sour expression means bitter expression, that they will not show their teeth in way of smile. They will not show their teeth in way of smile means while smiling. Though Nestor swear the jest be laughable. Though, even though Nestor swear the jest is joke, is laughable. Now, another reference that has been used here is Nestor. So, Nestor was an old and wise Greek general. Okay, old and wise Greek general, and he was, you know, he was the one who was always very serious. Okay, a joke had to be extremely funny if Nestor is laughing on it. Other, if a joke is not funny, Nestor would never laugh on it. If the joke is extremely funny, only then Nestor would laugh at it. So, you know, he is giving Nestor's example. He is referring to Nestor here, saying that there are some people who have such bitter expression, such a mind that they would never smile. They would never show their teeth in way of smile, though Nestor tell them that the joke is laughable. All right. Okay. Now at that time, enter Bassanio, Lorenzo, and Bresciano. Enter again means they enter the stage. Till now, who were there? Only Antonio, Salanio, and Salarino. They were on stage. Now Bassanio, Lorenzo, and Bresciano, who are again friends, Christian friends, they three also enter over there. Right. Now you can see the speech continues. So who is saying this? It means that Salanio only says that. Here comes Bassanio, your most noble kinsman. Kinsman, you can say friend, your most noble friend, your best friend, Bresciano and Lorenzo. So now here Bassanio, Bresciano, and Lorenzo come. Fare you well. Bye bye. We leave you now with better company. So now your friends have come. Bassanio, who is your best friend, and even Bresciano and Lorenzo, they have come here. So now let us take your leave, and we leave you with better company. So when he says better company, so Salarino, you know, again he says, I would have stayed till I had made you merry. I would have stayed here till I made you merry if worthier friends, worthier means more worthy friends, had not prevented me, had not stopped me. Now, when they have come, we need to leave from here because these friends are more worthy to you. They are, you know, of more importance to you. In a way, they are trying to say that. For that, Antonio says, your worth, your value is very dear in my regard. No, your value is also very dear in my regard, in my esteem. All right. I take it your own business calls on you. I take it that it is your own business that calls on you. Calls on you means your business needs you. Calls on you means needs you. And you embrace the occasion. Embrace the occasion means take the opportunity to depart. So it is not because of the reason that these people have come. It is because your what do you call it, your business needs you. You must be having something to do. That's why you take the opportunity to leave from here. So Salarino wishes them. He says, good morrow, my good lords. Good morrow means good morning. In Old English, morrow means morning. Good morrow, my good lords. Bassanio says, good signers both. When shall we laugh? When shall we laugh means, when are we going to be together? When we'll have a merry party together? When shall we laugh means having a party together. Say when. You grow exceeding strange. You are becoming strangers to me. Actually, they must have not met for a long time. That's why Bassanio, in a way, is complaining to them that when are we going to laugh together? You are looking like, you are behaving like strangers. Must it be so? Salino says, we'll make our leisures. Leisures means free time to attend in yours. We'll make our free time to attend in your free time. We'll definitely chalk out something. When we are free and it is mutually convenient for all of us to meet, then we'll definitely meet each other. And by saying this, Salarino and Salanio exit. They leave from there. So now Lorenzo, Bassanio, and Bresciano are here with Antonio. And Lorenzo says, my Lord Bassanio, since you have found Antonio, we too will leave you. So, what do we come to know from this? That Bassanio must be looking for Antonio, and Bresciano and Lorenzo, they must have only accompanied him and helped him to find Antonio. So now Lorenzo says, Bassanio, now when you have found Antonio, we too will leave you. So with we two, he means Graciano and Lorenzo. But at dinner time, I pray you, have in mind where we must meet. But at dinner time, you must not forget. Keep it in your mind where we have to meet. Remember, have in mind here means remember where we must meet. So Bassanio says, I will not fail you. Of course, I am going to keep my promise. So for that, now Bresciano also observes the same thing which Salarino and Salanio had observed earlier, that Antonio was looking melancholic. So that's why Bresciano says, you look not well, Sanya Antonio. Sir Antonio, you do not look well. Means something is wrong. You are not looking well. You have too much respect upon the world. You have too much respect upon the world. It means that you think too much about the world. You think too much about the world. Or you can say that you are always anxious about the worldly affairs. All right. Or you are always very much anxious about the worldly affairs. So that is also one of the reasons that make a person sad. When we think too much, overthinkers are always like lost in their thoughts and they feel sad also. So Bresciano here is giving another possibility. Salanio and Salarino, they gave a possibility that Antonio is sad because he must be worried about his business. But Bresciano is putting another possibility, saying that you are an overthinker. You are always anxious about the worldly affairs, concerning worldly affairs. They lose it that do buy it with much care. But those who spend too much time on thinking, on worrying about worldly matters, they never are really happy. They lose it. They lose what? They lose joy. They lose happiness. So he says that those people who are much concerned, who think too much about the worldly affairs, they often lose joy. They often lose happiness. Believe me, you are marvelously changed. Believe me, you are marvelously changed, drastically changed in appearance. Okay, you means you look extremely sad, so there is something wrong with you. Antonio says, I hold the world, but as the world, Graciano, a stage where every man must play a part, and mine a sad one. Now, Antonio again tries to justify Graciano, saying that I hold the world as the world. Graciano, a stage. He says, in my opinion, this world is like a stage. He is again, in a way, philosophizing, saying that I take this world as a stage where every man, where every person must play a part. There is a role, there is a specific role, there is a specific role that is given to every person on this earth. And this earth, this whole world is like a stage where we have come for a short period of time. Our existence in this world is very short, and during this short span of time we all have to play a specific role, and mine a sad one. And my role, the role that has been given to me by God, the role that I have to play is of a sad person. So what does Antonio try to establish here? He tries to establish that he is sad for a reason because it is his nature to be serious. Okay, he is melancholic by nature, he's sad and serious by nature. That is why he is looking like that. There is no specific reason like his business or he's too much anxious about the world. There is nothing like that. Now for that, Graciano, who is a person who speaks at length, बहुत बातें करता है Graciano, you know. So he says, let me play the fool. If every person has to play a role and your role is that of a sad one, I would like to play the role of a fool. Fool here means a comedian. Okay, fool here doesn't mean foolish. Fool here means comedian. Then in that condition, I would like to play the role of a comedian. With mirth and laughter, let old wrinkles come. And I don't bother if with mirth and laughter, mirth means joy, and laughter, old wrinkles come to my face. When we laugh too much, you know, there are so many folds on our faces, which he is referring to as wrinkles. And he says that if Antonio has chosen to play a tragic part, Bresciano prefers to play a comic role, even if he has wrinkles on his face when he laughs, right? And let my liver rather heat with wine than my heart cool with mortifying groans. And let my liver rather heat with wine. Again, another reference there is, please try to understand. Elizabethans believed that wine, when we drink wine, it warms our liver. Heat here means heat our liver, means warms our liver, right? So they believed that wine drinking warmed the liver. And then it was believed that there were four basic types of characters. Okay, four types of characters were there. One was choleric. Okay, choleric. Another type of character was melancholy, right? Third was phlegmatic. And the fourth type of character was sanguine. Okay, choleric, melancholy, phlegmatic, and sanguine. Okay, these types were psychologically, you know, physiologically determined by the digestion of food. They believed that the kind of nature we have, the kind of person we are, it depends on the kind of food we eat and the way it is digested in our body. And they always believed that food is digested in the liver. So a liver which is enriched by wine would produce rich blood. And in this way, if it would be rich blood, so the person will be sanguine. Sanguine means lively, very lively, active, and happy. Okay, so that's what Greciano is referring to. He says that let my liver be warmed with wine, then my heart cool with mortifying groans. Then I want my heart should be cold with mortifying groans. Groans here means sighs and groans, you know, karhana jisko bolte hain, groaning, sigh and groaning. Sighing and groaning, they were believed to take blood from the heart. Those who are always sighing and groaning, such people were believed to take the blood from the heart. So he is saying, I would like to have my liver heated with wine, then my heart being cold due to sighing and groaning. Is it clear, Ritisha, till here? Have you understood these references or not?
Yes, ma'am, I've understood.
All right. And then he says, why should a man whose blood is warm within sit like his grandsire cut in alabaster? Why should a man whose blood is warm within, when is the blood warm? When you are young. Means if a person is young and energetic, why should he sit like his grandsire? Grandsire means grandfather. Why should he sit his like his grandfather? Cut in alabaster. Alabaster is a pure white stone. Pure white stone. Cut in alabaster means why should he behave like the statue of his grandfather? Okay, sit means sitting still as a carved statue of his grandfather. If a person is young, why should he behave? Why should always be motionless, still and serious like a statue of his grandfather? Sleep when he awakes. Why should he sleep when he is awakened? Why should he sleep means why should he be motionless during the working hours, during the day, as if he was asleep? And creep into the jaundice by being peevish. And why should he creep into the jaundice? Jaundice, you know, is a kind of disease that turns the skin yellow. And Elizabethans believed, there is a reference. Elizabethans believed that jaundice happens because of jealousy and bad temper. Peevish here means having ill temper, okay, or jealous. All right. So why should a person have jaundice by being jealous and ill tempered? Okay. So in a way, Graciano is trying to make Antonio understand that if it is your nature, try to change your nature. If everybody has to play a part in this world, he says, I would like to play the part of a comedian, even though my face has wrinkles with joy and laughter, even though my liver is heated with wine, because I do not want a cold heart with sighs and groans. And then he asks rhetorical questions, that why should a man who is young should behave like the statue of his grandfather, so he is so still and motionless? Why should he behave as if he is sleeping during daytime? Why should he creep into jaundice means why should he be suffering with jaundice due to being jealous and ill tempered? Then he further moralizes, saying that, I tell thee what, Antonio, I love thee, and it is my love that speaks. Let me tell you, Antonio, I love you, and it is because of my love only that I'm speaking like this. I'm telling you all this. There are sort of men whose visages here means faces, whose faces do cream and mental. Cream here, you know, cream you have on the milk. So they cover the way cream covers the milk. In the same way, there are some kind of people who cream and mental means who cover their faces like a standing pond. Okay, they cover their faces, stand still like the scum that forms on the surface of standing pond. Standing pond means still pond, where motionless, where the water is motionless, there is no water, there is no motion in it. And do a willful stillness entertain. Willful means deliberate, and they deliberate. Stillness is silence, and they entertain a deliberate silence. They keep silent deliberately, with purpose, with an intention to be dressed in an opinion, so that they have an opinion to keep themselves in an opinion of wisdom, gravity. Gravity is seriousness, and seriousness and profound conceit. Profound conceit means deep understanding. He's trying to say, he further philosophizes, saying that there are some types of people, sort of men mean there are some types of people whose faces, whose visages, whose faces are always covered like a standing pond. What does it mean? That they are expressionless. Their faces are always expressionless, and they keep silent deliberately, willingly. All right, intentionally they entertain a silence, they keep silent so that they are dressed in an opinion, so that people think that they are dressed in an opinion of wisdom, gravity, and profound conceit, so that people think about them, people form such an opinion about them that they are very wise, serious, and they have a deep understanding of everything. As who should say, I am Sir Oracle, and when I open my lips, let no dog bark. As if they would say, they behave in such a way as if he were to say, I am Sir Oracle. Oracle is the voice of God. I am Sir Oracle means I am the voice of God. And when I open my lips, op here means open my lips. When I open my mouth, let no dog bark. So there are such people who always try to keep themselves serious so that people think about them that they are very intelligent and they have a deep understanding of everything. And when they speak, they always try to speak in such a way that as if their voice is like the voice of God. And when they speak, nobody else should say anything. Oh my Antonio, I do know of these that therefore only are reputed wise. I know such people who are only reputed wise for saying nothing. Means they are reputed that they are very wise. People think of them to be wise and intelligent just because they keep quiet. They don't say anything. When I am very sure, but I am very sure if they should speak, would almost damn those ears. If they were to speak, they would almost damn those ears, which hearing them would call their brothers fool. But I know such people, they only have such a reputation just because they do not speak much. But I am very sure that if they speak, then the people who would hear them, okay, they would call their brothers fool. If their listeners would call them fools, because they are not intelligent people. They always behave to be so. They always pretend to be so by speaking nothing. I'll tell thee more of this another time. I'll talk to you on this topic some other time. But fish not with this melancholy bait. Bait is bait of sadness. He's saying bait of sadness. But don't fish yourself with this melancholy bait. Don't be caught with this melancholy bait. For because this fool gudgeon is a very small worthless fish. It is a kind of fish which is worthless. Because this fool gudgeon, this worthless fish, this opinion, come, good Lorenzo, fare you well, because this is like a small, worthless fish. So don't be caught by this melancholy bait. Okay. Then he says, come, good Lorenzo. He calls Lorenzo, fare you well a while. Bye bye for a short time. I'll end my exhortation after dinner. Exhortation means again advice, my good advice. I'll end this good advice of mine after dinner. They are supposed to meet at dinner. So he says that I'll continue with this topic at the dinner time and I'll end it after dinner. Lorenzo says, well, we leave you then till dinner time. I must be one of these same dumb wise men, for Gratiano never lets me speak. I am also one of the same wise men among these wise men because Gratiano never lets me speak. Why? Because Gratiano speaks too much, I told you, right? He always speaks at length. Gratiano says, well, keep me company, but 2 years more, thou shalt not know the sound of thine own tongue. Keep me in company for 2 more years, and you yourself will not know your own voice, the sound of your tongue. Antonio says, fare you well. I'll grow a talker for this gear. Now I'll grow a talker. I'll grow here means become. I'll become a talker, means a talkative person for this gear. Gear is advice, for this piece of advice that you have given me. Graciano says, thanks in faith. For because silence is only commendable. Commendable means admirable, appreciable. Okay, we can only appreciate silence in a neat's tongue dried and a maid not vendible. We can only commend it in a neat's tongue dried. Neat's tongue dried means a dried ox tongue. Dried ox tongue because it was used for eating. This is not in your syllabus. Neat's tongue dried till here. Okay, he says, thank you so much for that you will become talkative now because silence is admirable only in the tongue of an ox, which is dried, so that we can use it for eating. And this way, Graciano and Lorenzo also exit from there. Okay, Ritisha, any problem in this episode? What all Graciano said to Antonio?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the problem?
Ma'am, I cannot understand after brother fools.
After? Where?
Here, would
Line
call
number?
their brothers fool after that. I understood the other dialogues, but I cannot understand the part of it.
Which part you are saying? This last part. We'll
No, no,
keep.
no, no.
Huh. Tell
The
me the lines.
senior.
See on the left, you can see the lines here.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Huh. 108, 107. Tell me the lines.
106.
Hmm?
106.
Okay, 106. Okay, he says, I'll tell thee more of this another time. मतलब इसके बारे में मैं तुम्हें wait. So now we see that Bresciano and Lorenzo has also left from there. Now who are left? Only Antonio and Bisagno. Please note about them. You must know that Antonio and Bisagno are best friends. They are like brothers. They share everything with each other. Okay, they help each other like anything. They share a very beautiful bond of friendship with each other. Okay, so now you see, as soon as Bresciano leaves, and Graciano, who is very talkative and he talks a lot and he talks rubbish also sometimes. And he has given a whole lecture to Antonio about being quiet, and people behave in this way because they want this opinion, that opinion. So for that, Antonio says, is that anything now? Is that anything now? Means, is it of any use? Or does it make any sense? What all Bresciano has spoken, does it make any sense? So Bassanio also agrees with him. He says, Bresciano speaks an infinite deal of nothing. He speaks an infinite deal of nothing, a great deal of nothing. Nothing here means nonsense. He speaks all nonsense more than any man in all Venice. He speaks more than any man in Venice. His reasons here means logics. His logics are as 2 grains of wheat hid in 2 bushels of chaff. His logics are as 2 grains of wheat, गेहूं के 2 दानों की तरह, hidden in 2 bushels of chaff. Bushels, you understand? बहुत बड़ा ढेर. Bushels of chaff, you can say nonsense. Okay, his logics are as if 2 grains of wheat hidden in 2 big bushels of chaff. You shall seek all day. Seek means search. You shall search all day. Ere means before you find them. And when you have them, they are not worth the search. You keep searching the whole day before you find them. And once you find them, you will realize that they are not worth the search. There was no use of searching them. All right, irrelevant. For that, Antonio says, now you see, now Antonio comes to the point. They have, so they, through Antonio and Bassanio's discussion here, we come to know about Bresciano's nature, that he speaks a lot. He talks a lot and he has no logic behind it. He just speaks for the sake of speaking. Okay. So now Antonio comes to the point and he says, well, tell me now, what lady is the same to whom you swore a secret pilgrimage that you today promised to tell me of? Now tell me, what lady, who is that lady whom you swore a secret pilgrimage? Swore means promised. Whom you promised a secret pilgrimage. A secret pilgrimage means visit. Who is that lady whom you promised a secret visit that you today promised to tell me of? About whom you promised to tell me today? It is not unknown to you, Antonio, how much I have disabled mine estate. It is not unknown to you how much I have squandered my estate, disabled my estate. Estate is the condition. Okay, condition basically he means financial condition. By something showing a more swelling pot, by something showing a more swelling pot. Swelling pot here means grand style, grand style of living than my faint here means limited, limited means here means sources, then my limited sources would grant continuance. He says, it is not unknown to you how much I have disabled my financial condition. मैंने अपनी financial condition का किस तरह से बुरा हाल किया है, ये तुमसे छुपा नहीं है. By something showing a more grand style of living. Why? Because I have been living a grander style, in a grand style, which my limited sources did not grant means allow continuance, okay, which could not be continued because of my limited sources, source of earning. Nor do I now make moan to be abridged. Moan here means complain. It's not that I'm complaining to be abridged. Abridged means to cut down from such noble rate of expenses. It's not that I'm complaining to you to be forced to give up, to forced to cut down from such a noble rate. It's not that I am complaining that now I have to cut down that noble rate of living, that I have to cut down that grand way of living in which I used to live. But my chief care here means main concern. But my main concern is to come fairly off, is to come fairly off means is to get cleared off, is to get cleared off from the great debts. Debts are loans, udhar jo liya hua hai, from the great debts, wherein my time, in which time something too prodigal. Now please understand the word prodigal. Prodigal means spendthrift. In the time when I used to be a spendthrift, spendthrift means a person who spends money without even thinking about it, जो जरूरत से ज्यादा unnecessarily, or extravagant. Extravagant. Okay, prodigal means extravagant also. Extravagant spendthrift hath left me gauged. Gauged means engaged. Now try to understand. Bassanio is telling Antonio that you already know. He is admitting his mistake. He is admitting his mistake that he has disabled his financial condition by living in a grand style than his limited sources could permit him. उसके पास सोर्सेज ऑफ इनकम इतने नहीं थे, लेकिन वो इतने ग्रैंड स्टाइल में रहता था, जिसकी वजह से क्या हुआ, because of that, now his condition is that he has to cut down on his expenses of that lordly living. But he says, I am not complaining about that now I cannot live in the way I used to live earlier. But the problem is, he says his main concern is to come out of the loans, to come out of the debts, the money that he has borrowed from others, which he took at the time when he was an extravagant. जब वो बहुत ज्यादा खर्चा करता था, तो उसने लोगों से उधार लिया. ठीक है, तो अब उसके ऊपर बहुत ज्यादा डेप्ट हो गया है, बहुत ज्यादा उधार हो गया है. तो वो कहता है कि मेरा अब मेन कंसर्न है दैट आई शुड कम आउट ऑफ दोज लोन्स फेयरली, मैं उन लोन्स को चुका सकूं. ओके, एंड देन ही सेज टू यू एंटोनियो आई ओ द मोस्ट इन मनी एंड इन लव. एंड टू यू आई ओ द मोस्ट, सबसे ज्यादा मुझे तुम्हारा देना है, in money and in love. Not only in money, in love also. You have given me too much of money also, and you have given me too much of love as well. And from your love, I have a warranty. Warranty here means assurance. And from your love, I have an assurance to unburden. Unburden means reveal, to reveal all my plots and purposes, to reveal my plots and purposes. Plots here means planning. To reveal my planning and purposes. Purposes here means intentions. All right. How to get clear of all the debts I owe. He says, and it is from your love only that I have an assurance that I can unfold to you, I can disclose to you all my schemes and intentions, my planning and intentions of how to free myself from the debts I owe. Get clear means how to free myself from all the debts I owe. मैं किस तरह से जितना उधार मेरे ऊपर है उससे किस तरह से अपने आप को फ्री करूं. तो तुम मुझसे इतना प्यार करते हो कि मुझे पक्का पता है कि तुम मेरी इन बातों को सुनोगे, मैं तुमसे खुल के इस बारे में बात कर सकता हूं. एंटोनियो सेज, आई प्रे यू गुड बेसानियो, लेट मी नो इट. आई प्रे यू, आई रिक्वेस्ट यू, लेट मी नो इट, मुझे बताओ तुम्हारी क्या प्लानिंग है. ओके, and if it stand as you yourself still do, still means always do, and if it stands as you always do within the eye of honor, and if you are planning, your thinking, whatever you are planning, your intentions, they are honorable, as you are always honorable. जैसे तुम हमेशा अच्छा काम करते हो, अगर तुम्हारी planning thinking honorable है, मतलब it is good, valid है, be assured, my purse, my person, my extremist means extremist is utmost, means are resources. Okay, lie all unlocked to your occasions. They are all unlocked, they are all open to your occasions, to your needs. Okay, he says, of course, you can disclose it to me. And if your purpose and intentions are honorable, let me tell you, my purse means whatever money I have, myself, and my utmost resources are all open for your needs. So now Bassanio unfolds his plan, his way, in what way he is going to, get rid of all those loans or debts which he has taken from other people. So for that, Bassanio says, in my school days, when I had lost one shaft means arrow. Okay, shaft here means arrow. He says, in my school days, when I had lost one shaft means one arrow, I shot his fellow. His fellow means similar arrow. I shot his fellow means similar kind of arrow of the self same flight. Self same means exactly same. Exactly same flight. Flight is the height. Okay, the self same way, exactly same way, with more advised watch, but this time with more advised here means careful watch, to find the other fourth, find the other fourth, to find out the other. He is giving his childhood example, saying that in my school days, if I had lost my one arrow, then to find my arrow, uh, I used to shoot another arrow exactly with the same height and exactly in the same way. But this time I used to be carefully watching in what direction the arrow is going. And this way, by adventuring both, here you can say by risking both, I oft means often, found both. And in this way, by risking both the arrows, I often used to find both the arrows. So, what is he trying to say? In a way, he is trying to tell him, he is giving a childhood example. And what is that childhood example? He is giving the childhood example of playing with arrows. And while shooting an arrow, if he loses an arrow, then what he used to do, he would shoot another arrow exactly in the same way, the way he shot the first one. And but this time he used to be carefully watching it, and in this way he used to often find both the arrows. And then he says, I urge this childhood proof. Urge here means quote. I quote this childhood proof. I am telling you this childhood proof. Proof here means example. I give you this childhood example because what follows is pure innocence. I am giving you this childhood example because what follows means what I am going to tell you further is pure innocence. Pure innocence means exactly the same. I owe you much. And like a willful youth, willful here means self willed, a person who works according to his own will, self willed youth, young man, that which I owe is lost. And now he comes to the point telling Antonio that I owe you much. I have already taken much from you. And like a self willed youth, because I spent the money, whatever I have taken from you, I spent it in my own way. I have lost the which I owe. Whatever money I took from you, I have lost it. Why? Because I spent it without any consideration. But if you please to shoot another arrow, the self way which you did shoot the first. But if you please to shoot another arrow, the self way, the exact way in which you shot the first. What does he mean to say? He means to say that if you shoot another arrow means if you give me another loan, if you give me another loan the way you have given me earlier, I do not doubt, I don't have any doubt, as I will watch the aim. Because this time I will watch the aim, I will take care. Watch the aim here means I will take care of that money. Okay, the money which you gave me earlier, I just spent it like that only without taking care. But this time, if you give me another loan, I will take care in spending the money or to find both. And in that way, I will be able to find both the way I used to find both the arrows, or bring your latter hazard back again. or bring your letter hazard. Letter hazard here means second loan. Okay, second loan back again, and thankfully rest debtor for the first. So if you give me another loan, this time I'll be very careful in spending or investing the money, and in this way either I will be able to pay both of your loans, or at least I will return your second loan and thankfully remain the debtor for the first. Is it clear? Is it
Yes,
clear?
ma'am.
So he is giving him a kind of advice that he should give him another loan because he wanted some money. For that, Antonio says, "You know me well, and herein spend but time to wind about my love with circumstance." You know me very well because he was his such good friend. He says that you know me well, and herein and here you spend but time. Spend but time means you only waste time. Here you are only wasting time to wind about my love. To wind about my love. Wind about here means appeal. To appeal my love or request my love with circumstance. Circumstance with circumstance means in a complicated way. You know me very well, what kind of person you are. And here you are asking for a favor. You are only wasting time in appealing about my love in a complicated way. And out of doubt, you do me now more wrong in making question of my uttermost than if you had made waste of all I have. And in this way, when you are talking in such a roundabout way, तुम इतना घुमा फिरा के बात को कह रहे हो, the way you are asking for love, the way you are asking for my favor in a complicated way, in this way, out of doubt, you are doing me more wrong. तुम अब मेरे साथ और गलत कर रहे हो in making question. Making question here means doubting. In doubting my uttermost. Uttermost means everything. In doubting my everything, whether it is my love to you or it is my friendship to you, this way you are doing more wrong to me by doubting my everything than if you had made waste of all I have, than the wrong that you did to me earlier by wasting my money. Then do but say to me what I should do. Then do but say to me. Do but say means only say to me. You just tell me directly. Only say to me what I should do, that in your knowledge may by me be done. You just tell me what I should do. Only say to me what I should do that should be done by me in your knowledge, and I am pressed unto it. And I am pressed unto it means I am quite ready to do it. Okay, therefore speak. So now when Bassanio was asking for Antonio's favor in such a roundabout way and in a complicated way, Antonio feels bad for that, and he says, you know how important you are to me, and this way you are doing me wrong because you are asking for something in a complicated way, and this way you are doubting my friendship. You just tell me straight away what do you want, and I am ready to do that. For that, Bassanio says, in Belmont is a lady richly left. In Belmont, there is a lady richly left. Left means she has inherited lot of wealth, inherited great wealth. And from whom has she inherited? From her father.
Oh,
So, yeah, so she is a princess actually. So he is talking about Portia here. He says there is a lady who inherited a great wealth from her father in Belmont. Where is she living? In Belmont. And she is fair. Fair means pretty, beautiful. And she is very beautiful and fairer than the word. She is even beautiful than the word itself, of wondrous virtues. Virtues means good qualities. She is of wondrous. Wondrous means wonderful, good qualities. At the same time, she is not only beautiful, but she possesses all good qualities, wonderful good qualities. Sometimes from her eyes I did receive fair, speechless messages. Sometimes from her eyes I received. Did receive means he is talking about the past. I received fair, speechless messages. Speechless means unspoken. And what were those messages? Messages of love. So here he is trying to say that from this girl, from this lady, I received some unspoken messages of love, means that she likes me, you know. Her name is Portia. The name of this lady is Portia. Nothing undervalued. Undervalued means underestimated or inferior to. Nothing inferior to or nothing underestimated to Cato's daughter, Brutus's Portia. Now, actually, he is referring to another Portia. This Portia here is compared to Portia in Julius Caesar. In the play Julius Caesar, Portia is wife of Brutus and daughter of Cato. Okay, and this Portia in the play Julius Caesar is also very beautiful, and at the same time she is very intelligent also. Okay, so he is comparing this Portia of Belmont to that Portia of Julius Caesar, who is Brutus's wife and Cato's daughter. Okay, so he is trying to compare. He says that so she is the lady who has inherited a lot of wealth from her father. She is extremely beautiful. At the same time, she has wonderful, good qualities. And I received some unspoken messages of love from her eyes. Okay, and then he says that her name is Portia, and of course she is not inferior to Cato's daughter and Brutus's Portia. Nor is the wide world ignorant of her worth. And at the same time, the wide world, this whole world, is not ignorant of her worth. Worth means value. This world is not ignorant of her value, for because the four winds blow in from every coast. Because the four winds here means winds from all four corners. Winds from all four corners. Okay?
All four sides.
Sides, yeah, corners, sides, you can say. From the whole world must be having four corners in a way. So for because the four winds blow in means bring. Okay, from all four corners, from every coast, renowned suitors. Suitors, I told you, suitors are means those who propose someone for marriage. Okay, they
Hmm.
are called suitors. So he says that winds are bringing renowned, very popular, great, famous suitors from all four corners of the world. And her sunny locks. Sunny means golden. Locks here refer to locks of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her golden hair, her sunny locks hang on her temples. Temples, you can say her head, hang on her head like a golden fleece, which makes her seat of Belmont, Colchos's Strand, and many Jasons come in quest of her. Now, please understand this another reference that has been made, and this reference is made to the ancient Greek legend. Okay, now what is that Greek story, that Greek legend? Let me tell you. See, fleece refers to the wool of a sheep. Okay, fleece here is the wool of a sheep, and that sheep was actually a golden ram. That's why the fleece was golden in color. Right. Now, a famous hero called Jason, with his companions, he went on a dangerous journey to Colchos. Okay, this ram, this fleece could be obtained from Colchos, which was on the east coast of Black Sea. So this Jason, who has been referred here, Jason went in search of this fleece. He went to Colchos. You know, it was a dangerous voyage. It was a dangerous journey. Okay, and this fleece was fastened to an oak tree which was guarded by a dragon. So if someone has to take that fleece, that person had to fight with dragon, only then he could take that. So here, look at how he has made the comparison. He is comparing that golden fleece with golden hair of Portia, hang on her temples means on her head like a golden fleece, which make her seat of Belmont. In this way, it makes the seat of Belmont means seat is the house. Seat here means house. Her house of Belmont has become Colcho's strand. Strand is the ancient kingdom. Ancient kingdom of Colches or Colchos. They are same, whether you write it as Colches or you say it as Colchos. They are the same thing. Okay, so here the comparison he is making, he is comparing Portia's hair to the golden fleece, which makes her house of Belmont as the ancient kingdom of Colchos, and many Jasons come in quest of her. Quest here means search of her. So the way Jason went there to search golden fleece, exactly in the same way, many suitors from all four corners of the world are coming to Belmont like Jason. Have you understood it or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now he says, "Oh my Antonio, had I but the means to hold a rival place with one of them, I have a mind presages me such thrift that I should question less be fortunate." And now he tells his intention. He says, "Oh my Antonio, had I means if I had the means here means sources, if I had the sources to hold a rival place with one of whom? Suitors. If I had the sources to go to Belmont and compete with, okay, to have a rival place means and compete with one of the suitors, I have a mind. Mind here means intuition, insight. I have a mind, I have an intuition which presages. Presages means foretells me, foretells, tells me in advance, which presages me such thrift. Thrift is the success, profitable success. Okay?
Yes,
Profitable
ma'am.
success, that I should question less be fortunate. That I will be fortunate, questionless, without any question. So here he comes to the point and he tells Antonio that if he had the resources to go to Belmont and hold a rivalry with those suitors, then he has an intuition. There is an insight which foretells him that he would undoubtedly be successful in gaining Portia as his wife. Now, see, in a way, he wants to win Portia as his wife for a reason that she is very wealthy. And if he is able to get her, if he is able to marry her, then all the debt that he has taken from other people, he will be able to repay that. But at the same time, he is taking Portia's beauty and intelligence, her good qualities also into consideration. What does it mean? It means that he also had a soft corner for her. He liked her. She also liked him. He says that I have received some unspoken messages. What kind of messages? That she liked him. All right. Yes. Is it clear, Ritisha?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for this, Antonio says, "Thou knowest that all my fortunes are at sea." So in a way, directly Sanyo has asked him for some money. So Antonio says, "Thou knowest that, you knew that, you already know, my fortunes are at sea." My fortunes means my wealth is invested at sea. How is it invested at sea? Because he has invested in all the ships which are there on the sea. "Neither have I money nor commodity to raise a present sum." Neither have I money nor commodity. Commodity means any goods to raise the present sum, to raise the present amount. Neither do I have money nor do I have any goods which I can, sell or something to raise the amount that you are asking for. Therefore, go forth. So Antonio advises him. He says, "Go forth, try what my credit means reputation, try what my reputation can in Venice do." So he advises him to go forth and use his reputation in Venice. "That shall be ragged Racked means stretched. That shall be stretched even to the uttermost. Uttermost means maximum. Even to the maximum, to furnish thee. Furnish means supply thee. Thee means you. To supply you to Belmont, to fair Portia. So he says, he advises him. First of all, he makes it clear that he doesn't have any money, and at the same time, he doesn't even have any goods. Okay, by selling which he can raise this amount, whatever Bassanio needs. So therefore, he advises him to go forth, move ahead, and see what his reputation can do in Venice. And he also says that his reputation can be stretched to the maximum to furnished. Stretched to the maximum means you ask for as much money as you want on my name, on my reputation, from anybody in the Venice, so that you can go to Belmont to fair Portia. Go presently. Presently means at once. Go at once, inquire, ask, and so will I, and I will also do where money is. Inquire where money is means who can supply you with money, who can give you money. And I no question make to have it of my trust or for my sake. And I have no doubt that I will be able to borrow money either because of my trust or for my sake or for my personal surety. So you can use me as the surety, and having me as the surety, you can borrow money from anyone in Venice. I will pay that money off. You can have it on my name.